Hello, my YouTube friends. Well, here's another Patreon video for you. I'm going to be giving you one every Friday. As a patron on the Patreon channel, A Better Life with Kat, you will get 5 of these videos every single week. Another bonus is that there are no advertisements on the Patreon channel, and I have the ability to answer your questions and comment if I think it's appropriate. On the YouTube channel, you'll notice I just give you a little heart that lets you know that I've read your comment, and I really appreciate it. I just don't have the ability to answer all of your questions on the YouTube channel. So come on over. It's only $5 a month, no advertising, and I think you'll really enjoy it, and we'd love you to be part of our Patreon family. Thanks again for watching, and always remember that you are beautiful. Hello, patrons. Today we're talking about the 5 love languages. I mentioned something about the 5 love languages in a recent video, and one of my patrons and personal flybabies, Ree in Australia, asked me to do a video on it. So I'm giving you a little overview of the book by Gary Chapman, The 5 Love Languages. I'm just going to give you a synopsis of what each of the 5 love languages are, and then how knowing that can help you in your marriage. So these are the 5 love languages. The first one, words of affirmation. The second one, gifts. The third one, acts of service. The fourth, quality time. And the fifth is physical touch. So what do each of these things really mean? How do you know that this is your love language? Well, there are some tests you can take. You can read the book, you can go online and take a test, whatever you want to do to let you know what things mean the most to you. But I can just tell you, for me, I already knew before I took the test what it was going to be. Mine is words of affirmation. And I'll tell you how it makes me feel as my primary love language, and I would assume it will make each person feel that way when they are treated with their favorite love language, their primary love language. So for example, if you are a person who loves to get gifts, it's going to make you feel that way if someone gives you a gift. And here's how I feel when someone says to me, well done, you know what, I really appreciate you doing that for me. Any kind of word of affirmation for me makes me feel warm and fuzzy and loved. It just does. It may seem silly to someone else, because it's not their love language. And that's the trick with love languages. If it's not your love language, but it's your loved one's love language, you want to make sure you're using their love language when you express love to them. So for example, if you're a words of affirmation person and you're married to a gift person, and you'll know it because they get you gifts all the time, then for you to make them have that lovely, warm, fuzzy feeling, make an effort to get them a gift. It doesn't matter how big the gift. It's the idea that you were thinking about them that causes them to feel loved. So for me, to feel loved, words of affirmation mean everything to me. Gifts, I mean, I like gifts, don't get me wrong, but that's not the thing that trips the trigger in me that makes me feel just comforted. Okay, so here are the others. Words of affirmation are things like saying, it's about time you did such and though. That will not make me feel loved. That will make me feel rejected. Instead, saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much for doing such and though. Such and, whatever it is you did. So if it's, it's about time you got new tires on the car. Thank you so much for getting new tires on the car. It would be the words of affirmation, not the gift of the tires, that would make me happy. For gifts, again, as I said, it's the thought that he's thinking about you that causes you to feel warm. Oh, he bought me a present. He's thinking about me. So if your little one gives you a flower that he picked in the yard, which of course melted my heart when my kids were little, but that would be the same feeling you would get when your spouse gives you a flower, a rose, something he picked or something he purchased. It doesn't matter. It's a gift, and he thought of you and he gave it to you. So usually if a person is doing that, they're the person who really needs that themselves. So that, and if it's you, then, and you're not getting gifts, then express that to your loved one. Acts of service. Acts of service are things that a person is thinking, ooh, she'll like it if I do this for her, if I vacuum for her, if I cook a meal for him. That's an act of service, and that's your way of showing love and that's your way of feeling love to get an act of service. So if your spouse is constantly doing things for you, like cleaning the garage or getting tires on the car for you or getting the oil changed, that is an act of service, a way for him to show you love. So perhaps you're married to someone who would respond from you doing an act of service. So when you make a meal for that person, that makes them feel loved. When you make the bed for that person, that makes them feel loved. When you give them a fresh towel, that makes them feel loved. When his laundry is all done, that makes them feel loved. So that's an act of service. And that's what those people respond to. So if you're getting lots of acts of service, know that that comes from a heart of love and try to give that to them, even if it's not your love language. Quality time. Quality time. That means your undivided attention. So if you're constantly hearing your spouse say, "Would you put your phone away and talk to me?" They may be a person who wants quality time, your undivided attention. They want to sit and talk and talk and talk, or just be with you, going somewhere with you, going on a ride in the car with you. I think my husband Larry is a quality time person. He's also acts of service, but he's a quality time person. And the number one thing that my husband Larry is physical. He wants to hug me, hold my hand. Those things are, and I can't remember, we did the test. I think he was a tie on those two things, quality time and physical touch for him. But that's a person who wants to do that, but be with you, hold your hand, put their arm around you, give you a hug, put their finger next to your thigh when you're sitting together, whatever. They want to touch you. They want to have physical touch, physical closeness. It can mean an intimate act as well, but more than likely, it's just those daily, everyday touching that person makes them feel loved, kissing them, loving on them, okay? So if you're that person, then physical touch may be your main love language. And so you'll need to communicate that you'd like to touch more in whatever way, okay? So those are the 5 love languages. We'll go over them again. Words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, quality time, and physical touch. I'm sure I didn't do this justice. Gary Chapman does it the best in his book, The 5 Love Languages. In fact, they've written other books since then. He's written other books on children's love languages, teenagers' love languages. So it might be worth a look if that's something that you're struggling with. But in the meantime, it's kind of fun, and I hope that you got something out of this. Have a wonderful day, and always remember to be beautiful because you are beautiful.